Hey y'all, so I am headed to get my daddy to take him to one of his heart doctor appointments. My mom texted me last night. She was not feeling well at all, and she was like, if I feel like this tomorrow, can you take him? And I'm like, absolutely, do what we gotta do, right? So I am headed to pick him up, and we've got to go to Mobile and just get him all checked out, make sure everything's going like it needs to go, and he's doing great. But this is just one of his checkups. I think this one is actually with the doctor that actually did the surgery, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, but that's what's going on with me. I had to leave Buster at home. I hate doing that, but I left him with a treat, and I leave the TV on for him, and he's got water and food and all that good stuff. And we have our little camera that sits on the mantle so we can kind of check in on him. And I was like, I told James, I said, peek in on him every once in a while. Just make sure he's okay, because we can talk to him through it if we have to. I don't like to do that when we're away from him because I don't want to get him upset. But anyway, I do have an appointment for him. I got to take him to the vet Thursday. He has got a little spot that's come up on his right eye, like right at his eyelid, and I've just been watching it for a few weeks, and it's not going away, and it looks like it might have gotten a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna take him to the vet just to get that checked out. He's not in any pain, he's not in any discomfort at all with it, but I've just noticed it, and James and I have talked about it, and I'm like, I'm gonna take him in, because I'd rather take him in and be overreacting than not take him in and it'd be something I should have caught earlier, and it's just a whole, how that thing goes. So I'm gonna take him in for that. While I've got him in for that, I'm gonna go ahead and let him clip his nails, and so I've got to do that Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday. Well, Friday, I'm going to be up working with my brother. And then Saturday, James and I are going up to work with my brother on the Reno property. My brother got called back to his job, so he has only got Fridays and Saturdays now. So I'm just wondering if we ever going to get that thing finished. We're so close, but I figured with me and my brother and James, for those 2 days will be better than, just me and my brother will have extra hand. There's a lot that James can do. I really was trying to take it all off of him, but since my brother got called back to his job, it's just going to take us all. So we'll get it done. It just won't be as soon as we were hoping. Probably be delayed a few weeks, but anyway, so I just wanted to get on here and say hello, and I wanted to thank y'all so much for your feedback on the Chatty Car Rides. I do appreciate it so much, and y'all, I feel like I need to explain this part to y'all, because when I get in here and I start these Chatty Car Rides, well, first of all, I don't do a Chatty Car Ride every time I get in the car. I really feel it's funny. It'll just kind of hit me at different times, and it'll be like, okay, turn the camera on. And I really never have an agenda. I never have like a list of what I'm going to talk to y'all about. It's just me literally getting in the car, chatting with y'all. But it always seems to be that's when the Lord chooses to, kind of tell me what to say, and it turns the way that they've turned. And I'm not going to apologize for that, because I realize that, first of all, I've asked him you know, to use me however he sees fit and whatever he wants to do. And if this is the path he chooses to use me, then, you know, I want to be obedient. Secondly, y'all say, or so many of y'all that comment say, you know, I needed that, thank you for this, and in no way am I taking the credit. It's all God. But that's another reason I'm not going to apologize for it, because, you know, undoubtedly it was all for a reason. And if it can help you, that is, you know, all the more reason to do it, you know. And I'm trying to say this and not come off arrogant and self-centered and it's all about me, because in no way do I want to take credit for it. But I just want y'all to understand, these Chatty Car Rides they're not planned. I don't have an agenda. I don't have a list. I mean, I may start off with, I'm going to catch y'all up on some things, but then it'll kind of turn and go a different direction. But as far as like what I've talked to y'all about in the past, as far as like, you know, share bits of my testimony, and then the last car ride where, you know, I was telling y'all about how the Lord played me that song and how he, you know, all that, none of that was planned. It just happened. But I just wanted to get that out there. And I wanted to just let y'all know how much I appreciate the positive feedback on those, because quite honestly, the very last Chatty Car Ride that I uploaded, I had uploaded it and had it scheduled. I'd actually uploaded it the day I recorded it, which was that Tuesday, but I wasn't going to let it come out that Wednesday because I had my regular video out that Wednesday, and then I was like, well, I'm not going to do it Thursday because that'll be 2 videos back to back. I said, so I'll just do it on a Friday. And, you know, kind of, I had it in my mind, if I'm going to do these Chatty Car Rides, I'll just kind of let them be like a Friday thing. I won't necessarily just say, okay, every Friday I'm going to have a Chatty Car Ride, because again, I never know when I'm going to do them. I hope this is making sense. And I said all that to say this, y'all, I struggled so hard with that video because I had scheduled it and it didn't really start hitting me till Thursday night. I'm like, man, I really should delete that video. I'm like, man, I just need to delete that video. And it just kept on and on. I went to bed with that in my mind. You know, I need to delete the video. I got it that Friday morning. I was like, I couldn't remember if I had scheduled it for that midnight, you know, for 12 a.m. Friday morning, or if I had scheduled it for like 7 a.m. Friday morning. I couldn't remember, and I saw that it was scheduled for 7 a.m. and I was like, yeah, I really should just delete this. But I didn't do it. And I'm so glad that I didn't do it, because so many of y'all were touched, and it was stuff that y'all told me, you know, y'all really needed to hear that, and, you know, it blessed you, and that just meant so much to me. But I'm going to tell you, I struggle with it, and I struggle sometimes with putting up these Chatty Car Rides, because YouTube can be not the nicest place. I have been very fortunate in my YouTube career to, I don't want to put this out there, but I will. I have not encountered some of the I've not encountered the amount of nasty comments, rude people, hateful people. I have been very, very blessed. Now, that's not to say I haven't gotten, you know, the off comment here and there and this and that. But the way I look at that, and this is how I was telling my friend Deborah from the Painted South, she and I were texting one day, and she had sent me a screenshot of a rude comment on one of my videos. She's like, what is her problem? I was like, honestly, I don't know, but, you know, I just don't let it bother me anymore, because those rude comments say more about the person making them than they say about the person that they're making them about. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I'm just not gonna, I'm not gonna give in to that. You know, everybody is entitled to their opinion, you know, whether we agree or disagree with it. Everybody has the right to their opinion, and that's fine. And, you know, but it takes more energy for them to be nasty than it does, than you have to give into, you know, replying to it or acknowledging it. I mean, just whatever. I'm not even gonna acknowledge it. I'm not gonna deal with it, because that rude comment says more about that person than it says about me. So all that said, I feel like I'm talking in circles. I just, you know, I struggle sometimes with these chatty car rides, but at the same time, when you pray and you ask the Lord to use you, and I've asked him, you know, to use me, and if he wants to, you know, use this YouTube platform, whatever, his will be done, not mine. And if that means, you know, so I'm so glad that I didn't delete the car ride, because undoubtedly the Lord used it to bless many, and that is what it's all about at the end of the day. So, but there was something that was brought up about in one of the comments, and I can't remember exactly how it was, but she basically said something to the effect, and if you're watching this and I'm misquoting it, I'm sorry, but this is what I took from it. That somebody in her family said, why do you have to make everything so spiritual? She was like, I pray about everything, you know. And to me, I understand what she's saying. It's not that you make everything a spiritual thing, but this thing with God is a relationship. And just think about that. And this has been weighing heavy on my mind. When your relationship with God is so personal. God is not about religion. He is about relationship. And that's what people, I think, misunderstand. And I used to be that way. I used to misunderstand it until I developed a relationship with God. Well, how do you develop a relationship with God? The same as you develop relationships with people. Communication. Spending time with them. Putting forth the effort. Maybe going out of your way to meet up with them. Same thing with God. It's literally the same thing with God. You make time with God. You talk to God. You communicate with God. And the more you communicate with God, and the more you talk to Him, and all of, you know, the things that go into making a relationship, then the more you're going to be familiar with Him and His ways and how He sounds when He talks to you. And it will be easier to hear His voice and understand when God is talking to you. And I can't tell you how many times that, you know, I would be just out and about and I would just hear God talk to me, and He starts the conversations sometimes. It's not always me starting the conversations, but that's relationship. You just start a conversation. Now, I do believe it is very important to have a prayer life, and in no way am I saying, oh, you just, you know, chit-chat with God. No, there are times that you will go into a deeper level with God and have a prayer meeting with God. But y'all, when I'm cleaning and I'm around the house and I'm doing my thing, I would just talk to God like I'm just talking to you, you know. I will tell jokes to God. I will make funnies. I will, like, pick on Him sometimes about, now, Lord, I know you had to have a sense of humor. I know you got one. Because, first of all, look at some of the animals you made. You know, stuff like that. Riding down my car. Riding down the road in the car. If I'm not talking to y'all or something, there's been so many times I will literally talk to God like He is in the passenger side of this car. I will even catch myself looking over there talking to Him, you know? That is how you develop a relationship with God. And then when you develop your relationship with God, He's gonna start letting you know maybe areas you need to work on and improve. Maybe some areas of your life, there's some things that need to be changed. And once you get into a relationship with God, it is going to be unlike anything you've ever had before. And the more you talk to Him and communicate with Him, the easier it becomes and the easier it gets. And, you know, there are times that maybe you're going through something and you can't talk. All you can do is cry. And you know, He understands that too, that He's just so good like that, you know. But I talk to God about everything, because like I said before, like He reassured us, you know, through the church service, if it's important to us, it's important to Him. And, you know, in order to keep your marriage strong, or your relationship with your boyfriend, girlfriend, your relationship with your friends, your parents, your family, whatever, you have to have communication. How well would James and I do if we went days or weeks or months without speaking? How well do you think that would go over? You know, how long do you think the relationship with my husband would last if I didn't talk to him but every once in a while, or only when things were bad, only when I wanted something, or if I went months without talking to him and sharing anything with him? I know that if he did that to me, we wouldn't last, because that's not a relationship. So call me over spiritual, say I have to make everything spiritual, I don't, you know, that's fine, but I value and cherish my relationship with God. And at the end of the day, that is the absolute most important relationship you will ever have in your life. More important than the relationship you're going to have with your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. More important than the relationship you're going to have with your family. More important than the relationship you're going to have with your children. Your relationship with God should be your priority, because it is the absolute most important relationship, bar none. And, you know, I learned this. This is not something that just happened overnight. This is not something that you're good at to start with, because think about it. You know, when you meet somebody for the first time, you kind of like, hey, how are you? Good. You know, it can be awkward until you touch on something that maybe y'all have a common interest in, or whatever. Well, guess what your common interest is with God? You. He loves you. He knew you before you were ever born. And He knows everything about you. And there's so much right there that you can start your conversation with. I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling, but at the same time, I feel like we need to understand that it's not about religion, but it is so about your relationship with God. And I cherish it so much. You know, and another thing that I do with God, for a relationship, maybe sometimes I'm cleaning a house and I'm not necessarily talking to Him, but I'm singing to Him. I'm singing praises to Him. That's another way that I have, you know, with communicating with God, is I will just start singing praises to Him. Conversation, prayer, reading your Bible, all of that is so important in the making of your relationship with God. So that's my thoughts. That's something that has really been weighing heavy on my mind. And I I make some sense of it. I just really felt led. I don't want to cry. I just really felt led to share that because, you know, I'm very fortunate that I grew up in a household that, you know, I was taught about God from birth on, you know, but I do realize there are some people out there, they don't know anything. They don't know anything and about God. They've never been taught. They've never, nothing's ever been explained to them. And, you know, so if you're one of those that maybe you didn't grow up in this and you've never had the privilege of somebody just sitting down and talking to you, maybe this is for you. I don't know. All I know is God wants relationship with you. He wants to be your friend. He wants to be your comforter. He wants to be your father. He wants to be anything that you need in your life. He wants to be that for you. He loves you so much. I mean, I know that Easter's past, but we don't need to ever forget the true reason we celebrate Easter. Do you know anybody else that you have a relationship with that would be tortured and beaten and spit on and cursed and mocked and just put to shame in every way possible and die for you? I don't know anybody that would do all that for me. And he did that. He did that for a people that he knew that in this day and age we live in, that they were going to hate him, that they were going to curse him, they were going to mock him, they were going to do everything they could to get him out of any and every aspect of life. They were going to deny him, but yet he died for them anyway. And that just blows my mind. And I can tell you that this past Good Friday that we just had was unlike any other Good Friday I've ever had in my life. I think a lot of it was because of my relationship that I have formed with the Lord. But I literally cried all day that Friday because it was to the point of James was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not," because I'm so unworthy of what he went through and what he did for me, that he died for me. And I'm unworthy of it. And Good Friday was just one of those days, y'all, I'm telling you, all I did was cry. All I did was cry. Because it was like I hurt so bad for him. Because I look at the world we live in today, and honestly, it is like they're just crucifying God all over again. Anything that they can do to go against God, they're doing it. And it's like he is totally being crucified all over again. But yet, y'all, he's just right there, just ready, willing, wanting so bad to have that relationship with you. He wants that so bad. And it just blows my mind. The love that he has for us, it just blows my mind. So I say to you as your friend, if you don't have a relationship with God. And I'm not talking about, that's fine. You go to church your Sundays, your Wednesdays, whatever day of the week that y'all have your service, and you go there and, you know, oh, I go to church. Okay, great, wonderful. But do you have a relationship with God? If not, I'm telling you, it's so easy to have a relationship with Him. And He's just sitting there ready, willing, able, wanting so bad for that. So just start talking to Him. Just start talking to Him. And you will be surprised. The more you do it, the easier it gets, and the more you want to do it. You know, you may feel a little awkward to start with, and that's okay. Forming new relationships sometimes can be awkward. But I say, give it a shot. What do you got to lose? What do you have to lose? So, with all of that being said, I really hope y'all have a great day, and I will talk to y'all soon. Oh, y'all, I just dropped off my daddy, and a couple things happened at the doctor's office, and he's got to go back in on Wednesday at 6 a.m. His heart is out of rhythm, and that's why he's been kind of like short of breath, but not anything that was alarming. And he's been, you know, fatigued. Again, nothing alarming, because he has just had major surgery, and he has been, they've encouraged him to walk. So he's been out walking 2 to 3 times a day, different times. So the fact that he was fatigued and kind of having a little trouble, not trouble, but, you know, just catching his breath and all that. And we was not alarmed by that, because, again, he just had major surgery. So when we went in today, they did an EKG, and sure enough, his heart's out of rhythm, which explains the shortness of breath and the fatigue. So they've got to go in Wednesday morning, and they're gonna scope him to make sure there's no blood clots, because with his heart doing the AFib, that's the potential risk, is it can cause clots, which can then cause, you know, through a clot you can have a stroke. So they're gonna go in and make sure that there's no blood clots, and then provided there's no clots, then they're going to shock his heart and get it back into rhythm. So, and they're putting him on blood thinners to go along with his aspirin. So, not the news that we expected to hear today, but encouraging news just the same, because on the way to the doctors, he kept telling me, I just don't know that I'm ever going to be the same. And I'm like, look, it's only been like 2.5, 3 weeks. You know, you just had major surgery. It's going to get better. But now this explains so much. So she said once they do this and they get his heart back into rhythm, then he should totally feel almost instantly better. So we're very much encouraged by that. So that's the latest. And he's a mess. And I just love him so much. But y'all, let me just tell y'all. I know y'all can't tell from my accent, but I live in the country. And we were taking some of the back roads to get to Mobile, to where his doctor's office was. And we got behind this dump truck. And I'm just driving along, talking to my daddy, talking, and I look, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I look at this dump truck, and y'all will not believe, I thought there was a kid, like, under the dump truck holding on. I'm going to insert a picture because I took a picture. I took several just to make sure I could get a good enough shot. It freaked me out once I saw this, but then I realized what it was. But I'm like, okay, first of all, what kind of person does that? And can you imagine the different people that has shocked, and probably some that have not handled it as well as I did today? Oh my goodness, it was just crazy. But I'm definitely going to insert a picture for you to see what I'm talking about. But I was like freaked out by that. But anyway, that's the deal. That's the update. I just wanted to pop back on here and update y'all since there was a little bit of a change. But I called my mom and I was kind of worried how she was going to take it. And she was like, oh, that explains so much. Well, do they need to do it today? And I'm like, they just said sometime this week, so we got it for Wednesday. Well, why not Tuesday? Because they've got so many already scheduled that you'd be there all day waiting. So now they've got him like first thing. So anyway, so I got him home. Well, we went and picked up his medicine. I went and picked him up a few little groceries I needed. Got him back home. Got him in his recliner chilling when I left. So that's it. Anything else happens and changes, I will definitely keep y'all posted. Thank you so much for the ones that have, messaged me, prayed for us. We are extremely blessed, and we know that God is in this. However He chooses to work it out, we know that He's in this, and we're just trusting Him and believing in Him. And He's going to, once again, put all the ones in the place that they need to be in order to, take care of my daddy and my mama. And so that's it. So now I'm headed home to my hubby and my Buster boy. I miss my little Buster, but we've checked on him a couple times today and he's fine. He's just been sleeping. So James is home with him now, and I can't wait to get home to them.